Hi people, it's Eta. Present is the ambassador.
Hello. It's your boy Ambassador doing this thing again.
Coming up, your celebrity updates. A Fisherman's Diary coming soon on Netflix. Really exciting news. There is one thing for sure. I'm definitely going to be one of the first people to check out this movie. I'm definitely going to be checking out all the updates, keeping track of when this movie is actually dropping on Netflix. For months, we have been waiting for this. There has been a hashtag campaign. Several awards were won by the Fisherman's Diary. The Fisherman's Diary got the Oscars list. And just a few hours ago, movie producer and actor Cameroon made this announcement. He said, breaking news, Netflix acquires the Fisherman's Diary. After making it to the Oscars list, The Fisherman's Diary has now become the first Cameroonian film to be acquired by Netflix. This is big news for the Cameroonian film industry and a proud moment for all Cameroonians. Many more Cameroonian films to follow. A big thank you to the following artists for all their amazing soundtracks in the movie. He goes on to list artists like Ewubert, Bless B. Singh, The Real Salatiel, Mr. Liu, and so many others. Then he goes on to say details on when the film will be available on the Netflix platform will be announced soon. So definitely this is really exciting news, despite the fact that some Cameroonians feel like they would have put the Fisherman's Diary on a local platform, mindful of the fact that this is a film which a lot of people are anticipating, a lot of people want to watch this movie. It has got a lot of international attention. Thereby, if you put this film on a local platform, it means you're drawing this attention that the film has gotten to local platforms. You're promoting the local platforms instead of putting on a big platform like Netflix.
Oh, for me, it's tricky, mixed feelings. But first, I just appreciate the progress. But I feel like, as always, I say, I don't expect Can Quintus or let's say, what's his name? Oscar, to be thinking about
John Scott,
John Scott, Scott, to be thinking about the business side of things. Because, as I said, the same thing I said about artists, the artists should focus on the art and then they should give space for business minds to do what they do. With that being said, so I don't want to throw any negative light on the shine of these guys because that was a great job they did. Can't bring without being, I don't know what he is. I don't know if he's a producer or he's a director in the movie, something like that.
He's a producer, I think.
The brilliant performance by the little girl, Faith Fidel. I mean, 12 years old, knowing the realities in Africa. I mean, like, I don't think she went to any Julia or any New York School of Art, put up such a performance and get all the awards they're having. I think now they're at like 36 awards in less than 3 months. Yeah, they nominated, I mean, making it to the Oscar list and all of that. That's, I mean, But now that's, I feel like, and I always say, I don't know if the business minds are not doing enough, but as usual, I see social problems. The business minds might not be doing enough, but the artists too are not giving enough room for business minds to express themselves in the artistic community. Yeah, so as I said, it's a good thing the movie is having all the shine is having. No doubt about that. And as directors and producers, they did their best. I mean, even the strategy they used of bringing a lot of entertainers, knowing that entertainment is having some shine. It's really, entertainment is having the most shine now, and musicians are having the most shine now when it comes to entertainment. The people like Daphne is in the movie. They used as many of these artists' songs as possible in their soundtracks. So wherever the Fisherman Diary goes, these artists go with it. They all want to push it to an extent because they share in that shine. And now back to the business side, as I always say, there are these, I call them structural things, which as an individual, you don't see the benefit because you just want your money, pay your bills, live your life and move on. But as a society, when you look at the holistic view of it, the big problem. The same reason why I tell people, like, I don't know if it's too late for us as Africans to start questioning the monetary values we use, the monetary system we are in, because we are so deep and lost in it. Even our educational system, our linguistic system and things, even our religious system, we are so deep in it that we might find ourselves almost lost if we have to move out of it. And we don't have no structural minds who are thinking of an exit route or a route for us to have a fair bargaining share in those things. I've said a lot of things in the air like that. Coming back to the movie industry. So it's difficult to tell an individual that don't sell your music, try to encourage local platforms. But when they give so much validation to the fact that Netflix has selected a Cameroonian movie, we are just looking at it from the face value of we are on Netflix now, all the other big movies were on Netflix, and then we are now on Netflix. We're not looking at the structural impact that what does this say to a generation of maybe 20 years down the line of actors. Until I'm on Netflix, until I'm nominated on the Oscars, I'm not good enough. Now, these external bodies could use those things as strings to pull us in whatever direction they want because they're in control of those things. We see the black people in America complaining about the choices with the Oscars, the Golden Globe and whatever. Because when it's all said and done, no matter how hard you think you have done, one, that white guy might not relate to the movie. Two, his economic ecosystem might not have a very solid interest in the success of that movie. So those are very valid reasons why he should not support this all the way. Capitalist where we are. So that's why I say when people don't look at the bigger picture. If you see the bigger picture and you're really looking at those things, it means a lot to you. That's why every day, every second I'm talking about Epcot.online because it represents that for me. But as I said, because when it's all said and done, when you look at the numbers behind these things, I mean, some people just look at the face value of we're on Netflix here, we are validated. But look at the streaming lines, look at the breakdown. What employment does Netflix will come and give us a kind of, I call it, sugarcoating existence in Cameroon? They say they're in Cameroon, but do they have an office? How many people are they employing? That's the minimum they can even give to our system. How much are they plowing back? How long will it take for them to plow back? I think recently they gave some huge amounts of money to the Nigerians to add some things, to give some kind of, they have some deal with the Nigerian film industry or some actors in Nigeria for them to act a couple of things. We are very far from that. But even if they give us that, that's not still valid. I mean, let's ask ourselves why the Chinese will say they don't want Facebook in their system. They want to create their own Alibaba and not use your Amazon. They want to create their own kind of Google. There are so many powers behind this system and there are so many structural things which we look at just the short-term advantage and problem and integral for that. But for a society that wants to grow, some people have to sacrifice their short-term advantage and opportunity for long-term, how can I even call it?
Yeah, long-term benefit, yeah. So I think it's true, it going on a local platform is a good thing, and also being on Netflix is a good thing. I think in the Cameroonian film industry, people could go in different directions, all heading towards one goal. As far as we all have a common goal in mind, we could take different routes and get to that one goal. So our goal, we have to first define the goal that we have in mind, right? Is to get more people tuned into what Cameroonian film industry can produce, is to get more people engaged with the Cameroonian film industry, is to be able to make actors live off their craft, because up to now we know that a lot of actors do not live off their craft in Cameroon. So we need to be able to get to that stage where getting into the film industry is actually a profitable thing to do. So also we need to get into that stage where we can compete with the international market. So those are some of the goals which we have in mind. So in my mind, I'm thinking we have all these different routes which we can use. We must not take this one track. We could use all these different routes just to get to that goal. For the local platforms, so we already have local platforms. We have Yabadu, we have other platforms where you could go over there and watch Cameroonian movies, and we have the international platforms like Netflix. I remember when I watched my first South African movie on Netflix, and I was like, wow, I love this. Why haven't I been watching South African movies all this while? And then I went and it was like South African movies, looking for South African movies to watch more of South African movies, because I feel like it was good, and it's their culture is something I could relate more to than the American culture. So I feel more in tune with that. So my thought process is, okay, if this Cameroonian movie gets on Netflix, then it gets more exposure, and then people who watch it are like, okay, where can I get more Cameroonian movies? It will even encourage more Cameroonians in the diaspora to be more proud of things Cameroonian. It will also encourage more Cameroonians worldwide to spread the word about content Cameroonian. It will encourage more people to look for how can I get more Cameroonian movies. And I do believe if you go on Google and you type Cameroonian movies, you probably see one of those local platforms which will jump out. So for me, I'm looking at this like it's a win-win. I look at it in the same light like you have Nigerians who send their kids abroad to go and study and then come back and impact their community. You have countries that would do that, or like the Chinese, which we talked about yesterday. I think they go send their kids to go to America, then they come back and they implement whatever they're implementing. I look look at it in that same light, because it's like you're sending, instead of a kid, you're sending out one of the movies. You're sending one of the movies out of the country. You're sending one of the movies internationally to go and tell people that Cameroonian movies are good. Then they Google Cameroonian movies. Then those local platforms tune in. I don't know the kind of deal the Fisherman's Diary got with Netflix. Is it an exclusive deal? Probably, maybe it's an exclusive deal, like it's going to be shown only on Netflix. But I think maybe the road which subsequently we should go is, I don't want it solely on Netflix. True, you might have less money if it's not solely on Netflix, but that way you can put it on Netflix and then you can also put it on the local platforms. So we have good movies on Netflix and we also have good movies on these local platforms. So I think those local platforms also have good movies, but they have not just been able to make it to Netflix. And when people see Fisherman's Diary, they'll definitely want more Cameroonian. So that's my whole thought process.
Yeah, I agree with you, but if you heard me clearly, I said short term, definitely it's a win. But long term, it is not. I mean, because if you know the capitalist world, the laws of demand and supply, and some of the international trade world which we have, if we have so what has to happen is they have to put in policies that encourage us to consume Cameroonian, where the movie industry can grow at a healthy rate. They're just dependent on internal demand. When that is done, we ensure that we produce a certain quality of movies where even external, how do they call it? People from other countries want to watch our movie.
Yeah.
So we put these movies exclusively on our platforms. So these platforms will have the traffic they need, the growth they need, and they become the reference in this industry. So if at every time the movie comes, it's already on Netflix, then 2 years down the line, when you are now like, okay, let me put it everywhere, you put it on this platform, it's not going to go and you never compete with Netflix because you are giving Netflix an unfair advantage over them.
Yeah.
So those things, when it comes to like trade balance and things like that, you'll always be very lopsided because there is no and as I said, I don't blame the actors. They did a great job. Wonderful movie-wise strategy, very well. But policies and our mindset as the general public are not in the right place to permit them to do this kind of risky venture. But they told a good story. I mean, advocating for the girl child should always be applauded. We need more of such stories. When it comes to the long-term growth of that industry and of our economy as a whole, so I'm not just looking at it from the point of view of film industry and entertainment. I'm looking at the bigger picture of the economy. Because the economy is strong, every other thing you need gets strong. So as I said, short term, by short term, I mean 5 to 10 years, that's great. But long term, by long term, I mean 10 to 50 years, I doubt.
Yeah, so hopefully in the long term, we use this short term to help us lay better foundations for the long term, right? So hopefully like these actors get more money and then they are able to produce better movies and then they put it on the local platform.
To do that, someone has to be thinking behind the scenes. Use the example of the Chinese. Example of the Chinese is not the same with the Nigerian. So we the Africans go out there to Europe and America and we get lost in their society. Even when we come back, we come with some level of, should I call it, you have been assimilated out there and then somehow you're a stranger to them. Yeah. But the Chinese, when they go out there, it's a clear strategy. It's almost like, so if you notice, like in the 80s, Asians were sent to Europe and America to go and study. Africans were also sent. I know a couple of people who went. The Africans never came back. The Chinese went back because there was a clear-cut plan to follow up these people, make sure that they put them in strategic places to have the influence which we wanted them to have. And even while they were studying there, they were actually counseling them and following them to make sure that they are doing what they ought to do to come back and do what they have to do. But in Africa, what happened was the first people who came back, they got very frustrated in the society. They were put in all the wrong places, they could not be useful what they have learned. So the others stopped coming, and then that's how the whole thing was twisted. So that's why I said that even in the movie industry, somebody needs to be behind the scene and showing that, okay, this short-term plan should connect to this short-term plan, to this short-term plan, get us to the long-term goal. But if it's just done freestyle, if we are lucky, we will get there, but definitely in a longer amount of time. If we are unfortunate, we'll get lost with it.
Yeah, true. Okay. So that's your celebrity update. Thanks for watching that video. Hope it inspired you to want to commit to Chakara TV. You want more content from us? No worries, we got you covered. All you need to do is hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, then sit back, relax, and enjoy daily content from us. It's been 8 on Chakara TV. We are craziness with a strategy.